Art of space and holding same. After having been kissed by Suilla's soft embrace, an albeit short but sweet, brief reprieve, respite, and our rest period. As recess is to student and lounge break is to teacher, we are now at the beginning of the third and final set of three such, comprised of 8 lunar bi-weeks each, marking the 2/3 point of completion upon the elder Firthwark's calendar year, meaning we're in the home stretch. Headed headlong into spring, 'tis a time for pulling up the roots of that which has died and likewise trimming back everything which has sat and yet lays in suspended animation. A form of haircut or pruning, if you will, so too materially and spiritually speaking. Whereas the first third of said and every given year thusly deals with realizing or becoming conscious of the duty one has been born into being and form to bear and perform, birthing and bringing forth thy thought form into being, as previously mentioned, by choice, will, and virtue of one's very own soul, no less. Hence, progressing into ye second set, which is and or was about manifesting said being into shape, form, and function. Whereas ye third set, which we're just entering now, is a and or the time to synchronize and synthesize thine thoughts and form into action. In other worldly words, apply thyself most actively. Be engaging. The Vikings read and saw this last third set of the year 227 to 629 as the opportune time to once again confront one's power, face responsibility, and approach potentials most creatively and tactfully. And the simpler and the more refined, the better. Only now, with the added vision and accentuated vantage point of having all the accumulated knowledge and understanding and wisdom one has gained over the course of autumn through winter's reign, setting the stage for come what may, from that which one hath dreamt of producing over given time frame, in latent terms of that which shall feed and fulfill one until year's end, of course. At which point, dearly beloved Mother Nature's curriculum starts anew once again, as Her Majesty so aptly ensures time and time again, in order for us all to attain ever higher levels of growth, development, and being, or back to the drawing board for some, see? Therefore, one's overarching and yet specific attention throughout the span of this here third set should be about concentrating on honing and sharpening one's ability to practice, maintain, and exercise one's divinity, even in the midst of the macabre or mundane. Not to mention also in spite of same, for it's filled with culminating initiations and finishing rites of passage to boot, to be sure. As uncomfortable or unnerving as new beginnings are, as endings be, even considering the familiar conditioned or rote, so too is there that arrested feeling or hesitant sense of being at the cusp of each so-called set mentioned in triplicate, wherein transitioning between states or territories of what is known and understood and what is not is fraught with such irrational emotions as fear, guilt, shame, and crap like Groundhog's Day, over and over again and again, ad nauseum. See the pattern? Break the cycle. And though it may seem like the same old things all over again, thou art of course older now, and surely that much wiser too. So it behooves and should be a cakewalk nevertheless. If ever you've tried to better yourself, then now's the opportune time to bust a move. Just realize this, if nothing else. Such is the organic and natural cycle of all things in manifest shape and form, wherein life flows as it should, no matter what, learning through hardship, healing woes and wounds, and growing via same. What for? To be. 'Tis not a mystery. It's the way and means of everything. Suffice to say, the personal journey or trip is just as important an experience as the individual destination itself, which, of course, is often beset with sudden, unexpected changes in otherwise arranged or sought after plans, demanding an immediate or imminent change of course or gear shift into overdrive and survival mode, especially if the so-called battle, detour, game, or melee is already afoot and underway. Alas, although plans can and do so change, it shouldn't come as a shock or surprise, for shit doth happen after all. So quit griping with the petty drama and get over it already, for here and therein begin the lessons, as if you haven't noticed or you ain't been paying attention all your livelong life. Basically, and cliff notes for good measure. Whatever dynamic may be a messin' with any otherwise thought out, well laid plans, if one's aim and or intention must be abandoned midstream or mid-stride no less, so be it, if necessary, in order to avoid further or potential confrontation and or disruption and or escalation. Meanwhile, and there ain't no easy way to put this, either gently or softly, but neither is there time nor wiggle room to even let alone unleash an alternate strategy in the throes of such a maelstrom and tempest, while regrouping, retreating, and or starting from square one are not viable options either, for it's game on, and time to roll with the bumps, bunts, and punches as they come. Ironically, the most difficult part or problem for most, and yet counterintuitive solution to same in regards to this and that is remembering to pivot and parry gracefully in the midst of being thusly challenged by sudden change. Fly like a butterfly and sting like a, well, be like water and try not to fight against the current, lest it take you down. Yet, don't be passive either. Instead, go jujitsu on it, Gangnam style for good measure. Resistance is futile. To oppose, maintain same. Staunching change as such is exactly what generates distress and or opposition in the first place, sending out ripples and raised concern and alarm, which can cause further damage or harm if not quickly realized or rectified, in the same hypothetical or real sense as knowing when battle plans have gone awry and yet refusing to relinquish and or give in for fear or pride of giving up, even though it'll surely end in something or someone dying. Rather, use your common sense. Live to feel and see another splendid day, the very key to which is being willing and able to release whatever foiled and or fouled intention or plan one had in mind and or at row hand, with it and ride out the waves to save energy for safety and sanity's sake. Besides, what's there to be scared of? After all that's being insisted of one currently is to call and rely upon one's self-directed motivation to get you through unexpected circumstances or sketchy situations as best one can. And the sooner you rein self in, the quicker may thee claim victory over self-control and compunction. No defeat, just a mutually beneficial win-win. Ironically, and funny frankly, for many or most folks would rather choose to fail or pursue a lost cause than risk imagining success in simply walking away. A valuable skill set we all possess, and yet few, if any, actually display, even to the point of it hurting or serving no one in any admirable or worthy way, shape, fashion, or form whatsoever, aka the mother of hesitation, that being grief, which implies more than just delaying the inevitable or denying the facts. 'Tis nothing more than stubborn reluctance and misplaced love of loss which prolongs and protracts pain and suffering. Ugh! Give yourself and others some relief already, or would you rather remain chained and jail thyself, as if it's a death sentence or something wrong? As the Vikings saw and see it, 'tis nothing more than one's ideals or idealism being challenged and summarily stripped away and laid bare, which isn't to say it and or they can't be made manifest. Rather, it just ain't going to happen the way one hoped, imagined, or planned it to be. See? All of which is quite revealing and telling, particularly since that's the way the cyclical story has been told since time of old and still goes on without alteration or pause. And such is the polarity or charge of these next two lunar bi-weeks, 227 to 314 in terms of and as far as its stave tier is concerned, which is merely alerting everyone and everything to exercise due diligence by doing one's own legwork. So to walk the talk, as in don't use the escalator, take the trusty stairs, and make tried and true steps and or strides toward whichever direction feels right, seems best, or is at least without offense. Because other doors and corridors to other avenues and planes and plans and our plateaus of new horizons await thy epiphany or discovery, of fresh beginnings flushed with undiluted possibility. And yeah, you don't want to miss that, do you? Here and therein is how we start off this third and last set of 8 lunar bi-weeks, whose overall theme is about an upbeat optimism, positive outlook, perspective, and the moxie and wherewithal to valiantly follow through to, or toe the line, as said in maritime. And the lesson to be learned, which surely should have been earned long ago, if not soon, is to always remain flexible to how things turn out or materialize. No matter what, if nothing else, yet be also clear about saying and seeing things for what they are and are art, whilst being dexterous enough to block, duck, and sidestep or sway out of harm's way in order to advocate, advance, and encourage, yea, proselytize that which needs to be done and are met for the good of everyone. Even if championing, nurturing, and are supporting same ain't the way one envisioned or thought it would look or be, always give it your all, any way you can, 100%, except when donating blood, of course. Tier.